After firing its 2,000-kilometer Garda 380, Iran hints at never-seen-before missiles for the next round. As Khorramshahr 4 and Kibar barrages burn targets in Israel, is this just the opening act of Iran's missile war? Are these strikes only the trailer? Is Tehran about to unleash its full missile arsenal on Israeli and US assets? After Garda 380 and Talia missiles hunted down a US destroyer-tanker pair in the Indian Ocean, will Iranian missiles turn the high seas into the next battlefield? Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a chilling warning to Israel, according to media reports on March 6. An IRGC spokesperson said Iran is fully prepared for a prolonged war and intends to punish what it called the aggressor state. He said Iran is set to roll out a new generation of strategic weaponry that has not yet been seen on any battlefield. The general stressed that, so far, Iran has used only a fraction of its actual military capabilities in the current conflict. Iran's new initiatives and weapons are on the way, the spokesperson declared, hinting at further escalatory steps. He added that the enemy should expect painful blows in every upcoming operational wave as Iran's campaign continues. This warning came after Iran struck Tel Aviv with a Kibar-class missile, which Iranian media said demonstrated a high degree of accuracy. On March 5, the IRGC said it had used Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missiles to hit the heart of Tel Aviv during a dawn barrage. The same statement said the salvo also targeted Israel's Ben Gurion airport and an associated Air Force facility. Iran also released video footage, which it said showed the launch of at least one Khorramshahr 4 missile. Meanwhile, the Israel Defense Forces said their air defenses intercepted most of the Iranian missiles fired towards Israel. The Iranian army also claimed it had carried out drone strikes inside Israel on March 5. Iranian state television said those drone attacks hit unspecified targets in Tel Aviv and the Meron radar base in northern Israel. Israeli officials, however, said there were no confirmed reports of drone impacts in Israel on March 5. On March 4, Iran announced it had attacked a US destroyer that was refueling from an American tanker in the Indian Ocean. The IRGC said the destroyer was taking on fuel about 650 kilometers off Iran's southern coast when the strike occurred.
After launching its 2,000-kilometer Garda 380 missile, Iran is now hinting at something even more dangerous. Weapons never seen before on any battlefield, missiles capable of striking far beyond the Middle East. And according to Iran's military leadership, the strikes we've seen so far are only a fraction of their real power. So the question is unavoidable. Was the Garda 380 attack just the opening act of a much larger missile war? On March 6th, a spokesperson from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps delivered a stark message. Iran, he said, is fully prepared for a prolonged conflict and intends to punish what it calls the aggressor state. But the most striking part of the warning came next. The spokesperson revealed that Iran is preparing to deploy a new generation of strategic weapons, weapons that, according to the statement, have never been seen on any battlefield. Even more concerning, Iran claims that in the current conflict it has used only a small portion of its true military capability. If that claim is accurate, what we've seen so far might only be the beginning. This warning followed a dramatic escalation just one day earlier. Iranian sources say the Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missiles were launched toward the heart of Israel during a dawn barrage. Targets reportedly included Tel Aviv, Israel's Ben Gurion airport, and nearby military facilities. Iranian media released footage that it claims shows the launch of at least one of these missiles. The Khorramshahr 4 is believed to be one of Iran's most powerful ballistic weapons. With a heavy payload and long range, it is designed to strike strategic targets deep inside enemy territory. But Israeli defense officials say most of the incoming missiles were intercepted by air defense systems, leaving the true impact of the attack still heavily debated. At the same time, Iranian state television reported another layer of the operation: drone strikes. According to those reports, Iranian drones hit targets in Tel Aviv and a radar installation in northern Israel. However, Israeli officials say there were no confirmed drone impacts inside the country. This highlights the growing information war that now accompanies every modern conflict: claims, counterclaims, and competing narratives flooding global media. But the escalation did not stop on land. Iran also announced it had struck a US destroyer that was refueling from an American tanker in the Indian Ocean. The location, roughly 650 kilometers south of Iran's coastline. According to the IRGC, the strike used a combination of Garda 380 in Baystat Spriesten Badristeri Kombederstad. Mayun Badar Bar Stadiger Batsin Besilates Talia Talia strategic cruise missiles. If confirmed, this would represent a dramatic expansion of the battlefield, from land targets in Israel to naval targets on the high seas. The Garter 380 missile is particularly significant for one reason: range. With an estimated reach of 2,000 kilometers, it can strike targets across a vast area of the Middle East and beyond. This means potential reach toward Shaktenserum, Chattermolion, U.S. bases in the region, naval forces in surrounding waters, and when paired with cruise missiles like the Talia, Iran gains the ability to launch multi-layered attacks designed to overwhelm air defenses. But the most important question is strategic. Why announce new weapons now? Military analysts believe Iran's message may serve two purposes.
And Talia strategic cruise missiles.
Military analysts believe Iran's message may serve two purposes. First, deterrence. By claiming it still holds back most of its arsenal, Tehran signals that escalation could become far more destructive. Second, psychological warfare. The idea that unseen weapons could appear in the next strike creates uncertainty among adversaries. And in modern warfare, uncertainty can be just as powerful as firepower. Iran's latest statement suggests multiple operational waves may follow, each potentially introducing new missile systems or tactics. If that happens, the conflict could shift dramatically from isolated strikes to a sustained missile campaign across multiple domains, land, air, and sea. And that raises one final question. Is this escalation meant to demonstrate strength, or is it the early stage of a much wider confrontation? The Garter 380 launch may have been dramatic, but Iran's message is even more dramatic. According to its own military leadership, the real weapons haven't even appeared yet. If you want deeper analysis on global military technology and emerging conflicts, subscribe and stay tuned for the next breakdown.